Hello, friends and family, and loved ones around the universe. Thank you for joining me on I Am Maggie. And I am Maggie. And what we have been doing is a slow crawl through the magic of everyday life with Maria Szepes. And we've been just slow crawling through to see what pearls and gems and tools and tricks we may be able to get to help us along the way with our path and with those around us, because we're here at such a time as this to upgrade ourselves and all of humanity. So I thank you for joining me. When you do get a chance, please hit subscribe and like, and I would appreciate to hear your positive comments. And just putting it out there, I would love to hear in the comments what dreams, goals, what types of service and purpose you're working on. And with that out there, I've been putting it out to the universe and you all that I'm working towards my first 1,000 subscribers, and I really do appreciate if you, and 4,000 watch hours. I do really appreciate that you hit subscribe, like, and leave your positive comments, and possibly share. This work might help someone. Might help you, may help someone you know. So what we are doing, we finished chapter 14, and we are moving in the grooving into chapter 15. Chapter 15 is how to get along with people. The answer to the question forms by itself when we apply these simple governing principles placed at the leading motifs of our studied series. Let us recall some important axons from among them. This world is woven out of conflict in ceaseless motion, can only be conquered with even great dynamism, even greater momentum of energy and enduring perseverance. So you must persist through all. So when you hit the dark night of the soul, what are you going to do? As we say here, never, ever, ever give up. So let's read that again. Number 1, the world woven out of conflict in ceaseless motion can only be conquered with even greater dynamism, even greater momentum of energy, and enduring perseverance. So that's one of the things, as we gather together in this channel, we will be developing that. Many of you are doing all kinds of things. Brian Scott's work with Reality Revolution. You're doing things with Joseph Prince and his New Creation Church. You're doing things with reality transurfing with Renee Garcia. You're working on the School of Imagination with Joseph Bryant. And if you do get a chance, he has a retreat coming up like right next month. Check it out. Joseph Ally with Manifestation. Joseph Dispenza with Healing. RJ with Healing. Dr. Greg Braden, who's not only teaching about healing, but the new science. Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's doing that as well. I mean, the lists are endless. And we have many teachers that have come before us. Jesus, Buddha, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, many, many, many. So everything is kind of coming together in this grand jubilee. So just whatever you're doing, keep it moving. And when we're here and we're gathering, there's an energy that collects and builds among us, and I hope you can feel that, because I definitely feel it bubbling over every time we come here. Okay, number 2, determinism ends where magic begins. So you want to get into the flow. You don't want to just always be overpowering with your will, because ultimately you will need to kick back into God's will, the universal's will, and go with the flow. Our external and internal conduct, our thoughts, words, and movements are magical formulas of manifestation. So like in Neville Goddard's work, in everybody's work, the feeling is the key. You can be speaking, so you always want to speak life. If you are starting, like for myself, when I began working with positive affirmations, Louise Hay entered my life. And in the beginning, I was guided, and I thought, you know what? Out of nowhere, I had never even heard of a positive affirmation. The Holy Spirit told me that I needed to get positive affirmations. Well, I had no clue where I would find such a thing. So when I went and looked, Louise Hay popped up straight up. So I walked to a bookstore in the city I live in, and when I walked into the bookstore, a book fell off with a CD, and guess whose book and CD that was? It was who I was looking for. It was Louise Hay's. So I started, reading the book and listening to the CD. And of course, my kids thought I was crazy. It's like, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And I thought to myself, it was funny at first, but I was told to continue give it at least 30 days. And when I noticed, when I began working the affirmation, a couple 10 days into it maybe, it started not being funny. And I started to realize, wow, there's something really here. Basically, I can talk up to it now. It's cognitive dissonance. I want this thing, or I want to feel this, I want to feel loved. I want to be strong. I want to be confident. But there's this inner critic coming about saying, you're not these things. And I broke down and I began to cry, because I began to realize, wow, there's something to it. I'm going to keep working this. So where this comes in is what I'm trying to say is in 3, she says that our external and internal conduct, our thoughts, words, and movements are magical formulas and manifestations. So if you're at this beginning of the spectrum and you've never really heard a positive affirmation, or they don't resonate, I would just start banging away at the drum. But the bottom line is, eventually as you move up the spectrum, you're going to hit a point where you got to start working not on just the words, but feeling it. Mind, heart, congruence. So you want to be able to feel, actually. The feeling's the key, as Neville Goddard says. And also Joe Dispenza and unlimited teachers, Brian Scott, Renee Garcia, we have to feel it with every ounce of our being. So as you're doing your, spiritual CrossFit, if you're not feeling it, just start with the basics. The journey of 1,000 miles, as I've said many times, starts with one step, and we're going to get to stepping way past 1,000 miles. That's what I'm realizing the more I spend time with you. So I'm so grateful that we have this time. But if you're getting to that point, just keep working on at least having the foundation of positive words, speaking life into your life, and then work into moving into the feeling so you can step into the fullness of this truth. Okay. 4 is concept is sire to the embodiment of everything. Concept is sire to the embodiment of everything. Therefore, also sire to our sickness, failures, and misfortunes. So whatever we are thinking, conducting ourselves in, is what we will be manifesting. So again, over and over I say this, and I always want to, set this. We are on different levels of the spectrum. Sometimes you need a swift kick in the ass to get moving, and other times you need a tender person to help hold the field while you do the work, because we cannot essentially do the work for each other. I can't do the work for you, but I can be the light that lights the way, the lamp for your feet to walk the path to it. So we're indifferent, and sometimes that means being very compassionate, being gentle, spending a little time, different things. We have different levels of the spectrum. So if you are coming out of severe abuse, trauma, toxic situations, I am never here to beat you up. I'm saying start where you are. Wherever you are, get off the floor, get out of the dirt, get out of the bars, get out of wherever you are that's not healthy, and get moving. Because if you do not give up, never ever ever give up, you will eventually come to the cross. You will meet Jesus, and not only that, you will begin to come to this intersection that your life must upgrade. So many spiritual masters on the way will be helping. The angelic realms will be helping. The earth realms, such as myself and others, will be helping. As you continue to dial that up in yourself, the whole world's going to love back on you in a different way. All right, so we do not want to sire sickness, failures, or misfortune, right? So we're not here to beat you up, but if you do see that in your life, you're going to want to get to the root, take it out, and put a new thought form and heart resonance in that. Healthy, constructive, harmonious thoughts create balance in our organism and in our circumstance. So we want to have healthy, constructive, harmonious thoughts. So, also too, like putting affirmations around you. Like Louise has these cards that I used to carry around with me everywhere, and especially in the hospital. And I would gift them to staff and patients because they had positive affirmations, so it could help redial you into a higher frequency. But put your affirmations around the house so you can see. Surround yourself by beautiful, not just your house, your car, wherever you go, and even yourself. Surround yourself by beautiful people. Surround yourself by beautiful art. Make sure that you are looking for the magic of life within yourself and outside of yourself. Okay. Whoever wishes to be master over their fate, depression, and demonic bindings must be master of their thoughts. So we've talked about this before. People can implant thoughts in you. We can implant thoughts, like the mind implants thoughts, and they can just wreak havoc. Recognize that, and remember, we need to pull out the bitter roots and replace it with better thought forms. So if we want to master our fate, depression, and demonic bindings, we must master ourselves and our thoughts. Okay, thinking is the same as having influence, right? So as a man thinketh, he is. The good intention we direct towards our environment creates an invisible psychomagnetic field around us. I just love that. Just imagine that. Like, I feel like art, I've gotten a few pieces from Brian Scott recently, and they are just beautiful pieces. And when I look at it, it just resonates the psychomagnetic field of whatever, large sums of money coming, my lover coming, relationships and health healed, all these beautiful things in life. So just, remember, we are, this invisible psychomagnetic field is around you. And I want to ask you, what would the field around you be like? What would it look like? What would it taste like, smell like? What would you hear? What color would it be? What would be in your psychomagnetic field? Like, I would love to hear in the comments, because I know so many of you have these deep, beautiful minds, hearts, and souls, and you're just dancing in the shadow of the moonlight. Tonight is the full moon, guys. So there's always this wonderful feeling when the moon is full, and when the moon is in any stage. New moons are beautiful too. I just love the moon all day, all night, every day. I love the sun too, though. Okay, 9. We can have no thought with a certain emotional intensity or passion without it registering in our environment. So every thought, especially that has emotional intensity and passion, you're going to see in your life. It's going to register and manifest in your environment. Without exception, every manifestation has a moment, 10. Without exception, every manifestation has a moment of conception. Ooh, remember we talked about this several chapters, the moment of conception, and every subsequent development is dependent on that conception. So we want to be conceiving beautifully. And if we discover that we have not discovered beautifully, we're going to go back in, we're going to ask Spirit, we're going to spend time with ourselves, we're going to ask the questions to lead to the answers, to figure out where's that bitter root, where is this started, and we're going to remove that, fill that with energy of light, love, or whatever you need, strength, confidence, and watch your garden blossom. Okay, 11. Whoever wishes to receive must first give. And we've talked about this too. We want to be giving not from covert or overt places. So covert, you're giving so that you can get something, and it's passive aggressive, like you're giving and acting like you're giving, but really you're expecting something in return. And over is basically you're giving, like, you better give this to me. Like, we want to give from a pure place, detached, and just a true gift from the heart. And I'm telling you, it will bless you in ways that you cannot imagine. It will be the 10, 100,000 infinity fold favor coming back towards you. And 12, by changing our attitude to circumstances, we can change the circumstances themselves. So if you are in the dark night of the soul, you are coming out of abuse, trauma, toxic situations, anything, loss, whatever, loss of a job, whatever falls under us, health issues, just know the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. And if you want to change your circumstances, you must change your attitude. With that attitude, it's going to be thoughts, it's going to be heart resonance, it's going to be environment, it's going to be people and relationships, it's going to be everything. So just hang in there and just keep going. Even if you feel lost, I'm just going to tell you, you just got to keep going. Because if you never ever give up, that intersection comes and your life will upgrade. So our reply to the question raised in this chapter is based essentially on the 5 axioms. So we're going to cover that our next video. But I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you are beginning to see you are the magic of everyday life, and the magic of everyday life is all around you. Like, you're making it happen. I really appreciate you spending this time. When you do get a chance, let's keep pushing up subscriber time, hours of time, and positive comments. And I am Maggie. Thank you for joining me. Please hit subscribe and like, and I will look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thank you, and you know what's next. Peace in, peace out.